These are the top 10 sneaker releases of 2023. And a huge thank you to Whatnot for sponsoring today's video because they're allowing me to give away 3 pairs of sneakers on this list to you guys. But more information on that later on in the video. But with all that being said, let's just dive right into things with the first honorable mention, the women's Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Low Olive. Over the last couple years, Travis Scott and Jordan Brand's collaboration has created some of the most popular sneaker collabs of all time. And for these two brands, 2023 was no different, and one of the most popular sneakers that they released was the women's Air Jordan 1 Low Travis Scott Olive. Now, while this shoe is not the most popular Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Low, it's definitely a very clean look and is one of the only standard lifestyle versions of the shoe that released this year. The shoe comes in a black nubuck upper accented by white leather overlays and a backwards olive Nike swoosh, and it's one of the cleaner Air Jordan 1 Lows to release in 2023. Now, I'll be honest, the reason I didn't put this shoe in the actual top 10 portion of this top 10 list is because we've had a lot of Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Lows in the past, and in my opinion, this is only like the 4th best Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Low, so I didn't feel like it deserved to be in the top 10 list along with some of the other crazy sneaker releases of the year, although this is a really solid release and I did think it deserved to be mentioned in the video. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a clean sneaker, but is it one of the top 10 best sneaker releases of 2023? Not really. Following that up, we've got the last honorable mention, and the reason this shoe didn't make the list, although I definitely think it deserved to be on the list, is because this shoe isn't really a sneaker. In fact, it's a boot, the MSCHF Big Red Boot. While to some people this might be one of the ugliest pieces of footwear that released in 2023, you cannot deny the impact that this shoe had on sneaker culture and on fashion. For the last couple years, MSCHF has prided themselves in making some pretty insane and ridiculous products, and from what I can tell, the Big Red Boot is one of the most successful things that they've ever released. And I think that's purely because of the way that it looks. This shoe is absolutely one of the most ridiculous pieces of footwear ever made, but it's eye-catching and people really are drawn to it. There's something about the cartoony proportions of this shoe, the bright color, and just the fact that when you wear this thing, people stare at you, that I think made this shoe as popular as it is. The Big Red Boot truly lived rent-free in people's heads. This shoe was on the forefront of fashion, and while it looks insane, that's the reason that people loved it. And even though this shoe can be very difficult to get off of your feet, while it's on your feet, it's surprisingly comfortable. And like I said, I definitely think that this shoe deserves a spot on the list because of its pure impact on sneaker culture, but because it's not actually a sneaker, I didn't think that would be fair, so it's the final honorable mention. But really quick, before we dive into the top 10 list itself, let's first talk about the sponsor of today's video, Whatnot. And of course, also how you can win these pairs of sneakers for yourself. I'm actually gonna put these down because they're heavy, but you guys get the idea. On December 7th, which is this Thursday, Whatnot is having their top 10 sneakers of the year giveaway, which means that Whatnot Warehouse and myself will be giving away the top 10 sneakers of the year, at least their top 10 sneakers of the year, throughout the day. I'm gonna be going live this Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern time to give away a couple different pairs of sneakers like the Nike SB Air Jordan 4s and of course the Air Jordan 3 White Cement Reimagined. And all you need to do to have a chance to win these pairs of sneakers for yourself is check out my Whatnot live stream by clicking the link at the top of the description below and bookmarking the upcoming stream. Plus, if you sign up for Whatnot using my link, you get $10 towards your first purchase, whether that's in my stream or somebody else's stream, whether it's sneakers or retro video games or trading cards, doesn't matter. If you sign up for Whatnot using that link, you get $10 for free. And not only am I giving away these sneakers in my stream, but I'm also selling pairs from my own personal collection and Apothecary socks. Like, for example, the brand new Apothecary Holiday Collection, which is also available on our website, apothecary.com. And seriously, if you've never checked out Whatnot before, I definitely recommend it both as a buyer and a seller. There are sneaker auctions 24 hours a day, some starting at just $1, like in my stream, which again is happening at 12 p.m. Eastern time this Thursday. And again, you can win one of these pairs for yourself for absolutely free, so make sure to check it out. Click the link at the top of the description below, and I'll see you guys on Thursday. Number 10, the ASICS Gel Kayano 14 Cream Black Metallic Plum. I know, it's kind of a surprise that a pair of ASICS made the list, and not only just a pair of ASICS, a non-collaboration pair of ASICS. We're not talking about the X-Men's that released earlier this year, we're talking about a standard cream and black colorway. ASICS has been around forever, but in 2023, ASICS has become more popular than they've ever been. And it's not just because of their running sneakers, it's because of their lifestyle sneakers. Which, alright, okay, I guess are also technically running sneakers, but still, that's the case for most brands. The ASICS Gel Kayano 14s were the #1 pick on my top 10 list of ASICS for 2023, and there's a lot of reasons why. First of all, it's incredibly comfortable, but the main reason is the fact that this shoe is like the zeitgeist sneaker of 2023. The 2000s era running aesthetic is huge right now, not only in high fashion, but also in streetwear and in sneaker culture, and this shoe is like the epitome of a great looking 2000s running sneaker. It first released back in 2008 and returned in 2020, and since then has become one of ASICS' most popular models. In particular, this cream black metallic plum colorway seems to be the most popular Gel Kayano 14s to ever release. The shoe is relatively widely available, except for the fact that it's sold out most of the time because it's almost impossible to find, and the colors used on this shoe are incredibly wearable and definitely fit with that 2000s 2000s aesthetic. The upper of the shoe is made up of a wide cream-colored mesh accented by metallic silver overlays and, of course, brown, or I guess dark plum hits. And while no, the shoe is not as hyped up as a lot of other sneakers on this list, and even shoes that didn't make the list, this shoe is one of the best sneakers to release in 2023, and if you haven't checked out ASICS, I definitely recommend grabbing this shoe in particular. And actually, if you do want to grab any of the sneakers on today's list, I've made sure to leave links to them through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen. Number 9, the Nike Kobe 6 Protro Reverse Grinch. This shoe is an updated take on one of the most popular Christmas basketball sneakers of all time. And the shoe that I'm referring to is, of course, the Kobe 6 Grinch. This time around, what Nike has done is taken the iconic colors from that shoe, the green and the red, and flipped their placement on the sneaker. So instead of the upper of the shoe coming in a green, it comes in a red, and instead of the accent details coming in a red, they come in a green. And not only that, this shoe has also received the Protro treatment, which stands for Performance Retro, which basically means that the tech inside the sneaker has been updated to modern standards so that this shoe performs like a modern basketball sneaker and not like a shoe that released back in the 2010s. And while at first glance this shoe might just look like an all-red pair of Kobe 6s, it actually is a lot more than that. It signals the new era of Kobe sneakers. After Nike and Vanessa Bryant have signed their contract to allow Kobe sneakers to continue being released into the future, this is the first of the new batch of Kobe sneakers that are going to release into 2024. And what better way to start off the new partnership with a new take on one of the most popular sneakers of all time. Now, like I said in my review of this sneaker, I don't think this shoe replaces the Kobe 6 Grinches for me. That shoe is still going to be like my favorite Kobe of all time, but this is a very solid remake or reimagining of that shoe, which I really like, and I definitely think it's going to be one of the most popular sneakers of 2023 when it officially releases on the 15th. Number 8, Nike Air Force 1 Low Tiffany & Co. 1837. Like the Kobe's that we just talked about, and honestly like some of the other shoes that we're going to talk about on today's list, this shoe just kind of looks like a different colorway of a pair of Air Force 1 Lows, but when you dig deeper into the story of this sneaker, it's a lot more exciting and interesting than that. One of the most popular Nike Dunk colorways of all time is the Tiffany Nike Dunk Lows. However, that shoe was never actually an official collaboration with Tiffany, and instead it was a collaboration with Diamond Supply Co. And what makes this pair of AF1 so special is that this is the first official collaboration between Tiffany and Nike on a pair of sneakers. And obviously, because Tiffany is a luxury brand, the collaboration is a luxury pair of Nike Air Force 1 Lows, which you probably could have guessed from the retail price of this shoe being $400. And also the fact that a lot of the accessories that went along with this shoe came in sterling silver and were also hundreds of dollars, even though some of them were just tiny little lace locks or like a suede cleaning toothbrush. This shoe comes in an incredibly premium feeling black nubuck upper accented by a Tiffany blue Nike swoosh. But in my opinion, the most eye-catching detail of the shoe is the actual sterling silver accent on the heel of the sneaker. Yes, that is actual silver on the heel of the shoe. And I totally understand why some people might not like this sneaker. They feel like it's too much of an understated look for such an expensive shoe. If you think about Tiffany as a brand, they're not trying to create something gaudy or crazy. They're trying to create a really high quality product that people can wear all the time. And in my opinion, that's exactly what they did with this shoe. It's one of the most high quality sneakers of the year. It's very clean, very wearable, and also incredibly limited. Number 7, the Born and Raised Nike SB Dunk Low. This shoe is incredibly bittersweet. The sneaker itself is gorgeous, it's incredibly well done, the collaboration is amazing, but unfortunately, the release of this shoe was marked with the untimely passing of Chris Spanto-Printup. And so in a lot of ways, this shoe is not just an excellent collaboration, but also a tribute to one of the most talented designers out there. The Born and Raised Nike SB Dunk Lows were inspired by LA street culture. Every little detail on this shoe is incredibly well thought out. You've got bandana-inspired artwork throughout the sneaker. You've got one block at a time embroidered onto the toe of the sneaker, which you almost never see embroidery right there on the toe of your Nike Dunk Lows. You've got this beautiful full-grain tumbled white leather making up the upper of the shoe. Accenting that is this really beautifully dyed blue suede, and of course you've got this really interesting sort of jewel-like Nike swoosh on the midfoot. There are so many details on this sneaker that make it such a special collaboration. I mean, even the perforations on the toe are special details that specifically tie into Born and Raised, and then as a last-minute detail, because the release was pushed back, they added laces that say "in loving memory." It's a beautiful-looking sneaker, an excellent collaboration, and a shoe that Chris and Alex from Born and Raised should absolutely be incredibly proud of. Number 6, the Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Low Golf Olive. I'm sure there are a lot of you watching this video who are like, why is this shoe on the list when the other Travis Scott ones didn't even make the list? And I have a reason for that. First of all, I think the colorway of this shoe is better. Maybe that's just in my opinion, but I think the colorway on this shoe is much cleaner. And second of all, this is one of the most hyped up golf sneakers of all time, and honestly, I've golfed in this shoe, and personally, as a beginning golfer, I love this shoe because I can go out on the golf course and not look like a total noob, even though I totally am. But the reason I have this shoe on the list is because you don't get a lot of collaborations on shoes that are specifically made for a sport. You don't get a lot of collab cleats, you don't get a lot of collab golf sneakers, although we've been getting more of those recently, especially from Eastside Golf. And this is a collaboration that takes a shoe that's specifically designed for a sport and turns it into a sneaker that everyone wants to have. Plus, the Air Jordan 1 Low Golfs can be worn casually. I wouldn't recommend it because people might call you out saying like, why are you wearing golf shoes? Especially when you don't play golf. But honestly, it's worth the risk because this shoe is incredibly clean. And from my experience golfing in this shoe, while the Air Jordan 1 Low Golf is not the best golf sneaker in the world, it's a very comfortable sneaker, it's very wearable, and of course, it works well on the golf course. I mean, well enough. It's essentially an Air Jordan 1 Low with like slightly larger tread. That's basically it. Did this shoe help my game? Yeah, I'd probably say that. I don't know if it's just because it helped my confidence, I'm not sure, but either way, it was like one of my best games of golf ever, and it was in a pair of Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Lows, so there you go. Now, unfortunately, Jordan Brand decided to make this one of the most limited Travis Scott sneakers of all time, so it was very, very difficult to get a pair. I had to pay $1,000 for my pair, which I don't know if that was worth it, but because of the limited nature of this release, it became one of the most popular sneaker releases of 2023, and it's a golf shoe, and really only a pair of Travis Scott golf shoes could do that, so kind of crazy to see, and honestly a pretty groundbreaking sneaker in the golf sneaker world. Number 5, the ALD New Balance 1906R. ALD and New Balance have released some of the best sneaker collaborations across pretty much every brand over the last couple years. And yet again in 2023, they knock it out of the park with the ALD New Balance 1906R. The 1906R is one of New Balance's more popular silhouettes, and as you can probably tell, it's another 2000s running style sneaker. And at its core, it's already a great looking shoe, at least in my opinion, but when you add the ALD touch on top of that with the green hits and the cream hits and all the other little details that they've added, this shoe is incredible. In my opinion, this is the best 2000s style running sneaker that released in 2023, and I love the ASICS, but this one, man, whew, this is incredible. I love all the colors used on this shoe, like the cream colored mesh, the silver hits and some of the overlays, and of course the green accents really make this shoe pop. Plus the 1906R is an incredibly comfortable sneaker for all day wear. This is probably my most worn sneaker of the year, one of my most worn sneakers of the year, and if you haven't tried the 1906R, whether it's the ALD collaboration or not, you absolutely should. But in terms of sneaker collaborations for 2023, the ALD 1906Rs are one of my favorites. Number 4, the J Balvin Air Jordan 3 Medellin Sunset. J Balvin has had some wild collaborations on Jordan sneakers. The Air Jordan 1 was one of the most distracting sneakers I've ever seen, to put it nicely. The Air Jordan 2 was a solid sneaker overall, but it wasn't one of the best releases of the year. But it seems like in 2023, with the Air Jordan 3, J Balvin has hit his stride and released one of my favorite releases of the entire year. The J Balvin Air Jordan 3 is one of the cleanest but also most unique pairs of Air Jordan 3s ever released. The upper of the shoe is made up of a cream-colored tumbled leather, and the edges of each one of these leather panels have this really nice bright yellow hit, which really accent the shoe nicely but don't overpower the overall look. But of course, the detail that everyone loves on the shoe is the sunset-inspired gradient both on the midsole of the sneaker and on the heel tab. It's such a clean look, and the colors that he chose for this sneaker just work so well together. I really love the fact that a majority of the sneaker is super toned down. You've got like tonal creams on the leather and on the midsole, and like I said, those yellow accents on the sides of the leather, but they don't really do too much to sort of pop. And then of course you look at the heel of the shoe and you get this beautiful gradient that comes in black, orange, red, and yellow, and it provides this nice little area of interest on the shoe that I don't think any of his other collaborations have done as well as on this shoe. Plus, the silhouette used for this collaboration is an Air Jordan 3, which is one of my favorite silhouettes of all time, and man, the color blocking on this shoe is almost perfect. I love it. I would say that this shoe for me is up there with like the Amamaniere 3s in terms of Air Jordan 3 collaborations. It's an incredibly clean sneaker and one that I plan to wear a bunch. In fact, since my top 10 favorite sneaker pickups of 2023 video that I dropped like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I've worn this shoe like 7 different times. It's just such a clean all-around sneaker, and if you don't have a pair of them, you should pick them up. Number 3, the Nike SB Dunk Low Jarritos. I think it's fair to say that this is the best soda-themed sneaker of all time. I mean, okay, the Coca-Cola Kith Converses were fire, but this one is like next level. For those of you who aren't familiar, Jarritos is a Mexican soda brand, and you can probably find it at your local bodega if you live in a city. For a shoe that's inspired by a soda, I've got to say that Nike and Jarritos absolutely knocked this sneaker out of the park. The upper of the shoe comes in a white leather accented by a tearaway tan colored canvas, and the inspiration behind the canvas are the canvas bags that were used to carry the fruit to the Jarritos factory back in the day. Like I've already mentioned, you can tear away the canvas accents on the upper of the shoe to reveal a different color underneath, but personally, I love the way that the color blocking looks with the standard canvas left on. Other details that make up the shoe are the green Nike swoosh, the Jarritos logo embroidered onto the lateral side of the heel, and of course the Jarritos logo on the insole. Oh, and also the outsole, which is made up of green and orange and color blocked in this really clean way. Not only is the Jarritos Nike SB Dunk Low just a super clean looking sneaker whether you leave the canvas on the shoe or not, a lot of people out there are also really nostalgic for this brand and grew up drinking this soda. So I think there's a huge group of people out there who not only love this shoe because of the way that it looks, and of course the hype, but who also love this shoe because they love the brand. And again, I think this is one of the best soda collaboration sneakers of all time, but also one of the best food / big brand collaborations on a pair of Nike SB Dunk Lows. I think it's up there with the Chunky Dunkies. Number 2, the Air Jordan 3 White Cement Reimagined. Jordan Brand's been taking some risks recently. They've been reimagining a lot of their more popular and OG colorways as variations of the original shoe. For example, the Lost and Found ones, which were reimagined to look like a pair of sneakers that had been lost for the last 35 years, which in my opinion was an incredibly successful reimagining of a pair of sneakers. You also had some stinkers like the all suede Air Jordan 1 Royals, which didn't make a lot of sense to me. You've got the Air Jordan 4 Breads that are coming out next year, except instead of coming in suede, they're coming in leather, which I actually don't think looks that bad. And then of course you had the reimagined Air Jordan 3 White Cements. Now what Jordan Brand did to change up, or I guess reimagine this sneaker, was change the color of the midsole and the heel tab of the shoe from white to cream. Of course add the Nike Air branding on the heel, and then also redesign the shape of the shoe to more closely match the original Air Jordan 3s. Plus, as you can see on one of the pairs that we're giving away on the Whatnot stream, which again, linked in the top of the description below, they made the box look like it was aged. And I love the fact that they didn't go too far on the reimagining of this sneaker. In fact, I actually really love the cream colored hits. I think it makes the color blocking of this shoe a bit more interesting. I mean, obviously nothing can beat the white cement 3s other than maybe the black cement 3s, but this one is a really great remake of a classic sneaker that we haven't had released since like 2011. Yes, I know you guys are all gonna comment, oh, what about the JTHs or what about the free throw lines? Those are not technically full white cement 3s. Those are variations on the classic colorway, not the actual colorway itself. And as someone who missed out on the white cement 3s back in 2011, I was so excited to have a new release of this shoe, and I bought 3 pairs. I have 3 pairs of this sneaker. I'm not even giving any of those away. The pairs that I have that I'm giving away are completely separate, so technically I have 5 pairs right now, which is probably too much. And I think whenever Jordan Brand re-releases one of their OG colorways on one of their most iconic silhouettes, the shoe is going to be on this list in some form or fashion. And again, I think that the small changes that they made to this release actually make the sneaker look even better rather than take away from what it originally was. So I think it's a very successful reimagining of a shoe, and that's why it's number 2 on the list. Number 1, the Nike SB Air Jordan 4 Pine Green. Yeah, no surprise here. This shoe is my favorite release of the year. The Nike SB Air Jordan 4 is a one-of-a-kind collaboration. It's the first time that Nike SB has ever collaborated on a pair of 4s. And man, did they kill it on this shoe. Not only is the colorway fire, you've got this white leather upper accented by gray hits on the mudguard, and of course, these green accents around the sneaker, and my favorite part, the gum outsole. This shoe also features design changes that make it a better skateboarding shoe. And while no, most people who buy this shoe probably won't skate in it, it's nice to know that you have the option. Some of the changes that Nike SB made to the Air Jordan 4 are the more durable materials around the toe of the sneaker, where you're doing a lot of your kick flips and your kick tricks. And then around the heel of the shoe, you've got this more rubbery heel tab, which features Nike SB branding, which I think looks amazing. They also removed the forefoot air unit, which gives this shoe better board feel. I also personally think it makes the shoe more comfortable. Some people don't agree with me on that, but I stand by that. I still think this is the most comfortable pair of Air Jordan 4s. Leave your comments in the comment section down below. I really think it's a stupid comfortable shoe. And again, the color blocking on this shoe is just so clean and so unique for the Air Jordan 4. I just think they absolutely knocked this shoe out of the park. And those are just some of the reasons why the Nike SB Air Jordan 4 Pine Green is my sneaker of the year for 2023. But hey, that just about does it for today. I would love to know your thoughts on this list and also what your sneaker of the year is. So make sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.